Hey guys, what's up, it's iFlynn here, and today we're going to be talking about the new Sanctuary Onslaught mode that they showed off in last night's dev stream, as well as some Khora gameplay. So if you guys aren't aware, Sanctuary Onslaught was originally known as the revamped Dark Sector system that was removed from the game 2 years ago. Upon further development, this was then renamed to Void Onslaught, and then to Sanctuary Onslaught, what we have now. This game mode was described by Scott as a fast, arcade-like, difficult survival mode that you're not going to be spending longer than 30 to 40 minutes in, depending on how skilled you are as a player. Upon entering the game mode, you're greeted by Cephalon Samaris in what seems to be a broken up dimension. At the end of this dimension, there is a void portal which the player will jump through to start the Sanctuary Onslaught. In this game mode, getting kills will reward the player with points. From what I can see in the gameplay, killing different types of enemies will reward you with different amounts of points depending on how difficult the enemy was to kill. The goal of this game mode is to stay alive for as long as possible while keeping the void as stable as possible. You keep the void stable by getting kills. If the void becomes unstable, the mission's going to end. The game mode has a timer on the left hand side. The timer is counting down to let the player know that the next void portal is going to open to allow the player to travel to the next location where the enemies are going to be more difficult to kill. Every time a player enters into a new dimension, they will be able to earn focus, implying they have a focus lens equipped. With every stage, the amount of focus that you get per kill is increased as the multiplier for the focus gain increases with every stage the player enters and completes. Each stage will last 2.5 minutes, and the focus farming time lasts for 45 seconds at the start of every wave. At the end of each wave, the player will be shown a report card to show them how good or bad they did in that section of Sanctuary Onslaught, which gives the game mode potential to be leaderboard friendly and really add a competitive element to Warframe. I have two major concerns for this game mode though, the number one concern being the rewards. As it stands right now, this is where you're going to go to farm parts for the new frame Khora, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, and the new types of mods called peculiar mods. Peculiar mods are mods that have a really weird or wacky side effect to them. The one that they showed off on the dev stream today was whenever the enemy was shot, flowers grew out of them. It was just something funny to have, and it kind of separates you from the rest of the players who don't play or aren't as good at Sanctuary Onslaught. However, with these mods, they don't have any extra stat that would entice the player to use them. So for example, let's say you get the mod that Rebecca was using on last night's dev stream, the one that lets you grow flowers on any enemy that you shoot. If you wanted to use that mod, you would have to give up a mod slot on your rifle, for example. So imagine you're using a Soma Prime. We're building for crit, so we have Serration, Split Chamber, Vital Sense, Point Strike, Hunter Munitions, our Elemental combo. That's going to leave us with one slot left where we could throw on something like a Prime Beam mod or Bladed Rounds to give us more damage, or we could completely miss out on the damage and use the Peculiar mod. What I've seen being suggested, an idea that I actually agree with, is giving like peculiar versions of already existing mods. So for example, a peculiar point strike that has the same value as a maxed out point strike, sitting at 150% crit chance, but on top of that, make it deal like 50% flower power or something, like it was shown in the dev stream, like the flowers. That's just what I'm imagining the stat's going to be called. So that way you get the peculiar effect and you're not missing out on any damage or any like essential mod that you would usually have on your build. My second concern is to do with what I like to call meta setups. It's actually something that I have a huge distaste for in Warframe, but in other games I don't mind it too much. If the Sanctuary Onslaught game mode does not have an element of randomness to it, meaning that the stages are versus the same enemies every time, like we've seen in the gameplay, we started on a Grenier tile set versus corrupted enemies, then we jump to an infested tile set versus infested enemies, then it's not going to be that fun. If players are able to note what enemies are on what tile set and can know exactly what they're going to be going up against at all times, a meta setup will be created just like it was for arena missions on Sedna, which in my opinion would actually suck the fun out of the game mode because people would be demanding you run X frame or X weapon with X aura mod or X mod setup. Of course, you could always play it solo, but Warframe is a co-op game at the end of the day. Don't get me wrong, creating strategy for game modes is awesome. We get to do that in the likes of survival missions and defense missions all the time, and with every new frame release, there's always something new to try out. But I just hope that DE really nail the Sanctuary Onslaught on the head the first time around, because there's going to be a normal difficulty, and there's also going to be a challenging difficulty game mode, so hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. But moving on a little bit, we actually got to see a lot of Khora's ability kit in the gameplay that the developer showed, so I'm going to show you guys little snippets of different abilities being used and then explain them as we go on. The first ability that we see being used is Khora's third ability called Call Fenari. This ability allows Khora to summon her Kavat companion and also switch it between 3 different playstyles. An offensive playstyle where Fenari will do nothing but attack enemies, a defensive playstyle where Fenari will disarm enemies, and a healing playstyle where Fenari will heal Khora. Next up, we see Rebecca using Phase Slash, Khora's first ability, where she'll use her whip to deal small AoE damage to where she's aiming. It works a little bit like Wukong's Iron Jab, except it's with a whip. Her second ability is called Ensnare. This ability will allow Khora to use her whip to stun enemies on one spot. Enemies that are stunned will bind to other enemies, trapping and stunning them as they get close. Any enemy that is affected by Ensnare will take more damage from Phase Slash. Khora's final ability is called Strangle Dome. This ability causes Khora to let out a dome of chains that will capture enemies and hold them in place as they get close to any of the chains or the casting area. In the gameplay, it seemed a little bit buggy as not all of the enemies were being crowd controlled, but you could throw that to them playing on a dev build and the fact that we don't actually know how Rebecca had Khora modded. It kinda sucks that we're not getting the Exalted Whip, but at the end of the day, it must have just been too difficult for them to basically change the entire concept from an IPS frame to what it is now. So we might see like a different Exalted Weapon on a different frame in the future, but right now we have no Exalted Whip and all we can do is be sad and feels bad, man. Two additional things that I'd like to point out is that Khora's passive seems to have something to do with gaining armor, as we were able to see the little shield beside her shields, which is also used on Oberon when he's granting his allies with armor when using Renewal plus Hollow Grounds. And also at the very end of the Void Onslaught mission, I think they accidentally showed off one of the weapons that is going to be coming with Khora, known as the High Strix. So I asked Rebecca about it in the Discord DMs, and she says that she thinks that she's shown it before in past prime times or dev streams. It shoots out elemental darts, the elements being fire, ice, electricity, and toxin. If you guys can find any gameplay of the weapon, make sure to let me know where I can find it in the comments section below. Other than that, guys, that's all I have to talk about in today's video. I'm super excited to get my hands on Khora and this new game mode next week, so let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I'm also currently running this straw poll to help me decide what the best time to stream over at twitch.tv/iFlynn would be. As I'm a full-time YouTuber and Twitch streamer now, I'm trying my best to base my schedule around when it best suits you guys, so the link to that is in the description below. Anyway, guys, that is it for the video. If you liked it, go ahead and hit like. If you disliked it, then hit dislike. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.